tail bang, bang. Hey, 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 hey. You still love me and say, hey, 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 hey. When I get my money right, you and me are going out all night. When I get my money right, when I get my stacks up, I'm gonna buy you all the fine stuff. When I get my stacks up, I'm pouring chill. Hey, 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 hey. You still love me, then say, hey, 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 hey. When I get my wallet back, I'm gonna take you right where
Welcome one and all to Counterpoint, a musician's tale. My name is Cornel Bogdan, and we sit down and we talk to the very best in the business. I've been a fan of this band for a long, long time. Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band, March 14th, you will see them at the Kent Stage, Kent, Ohio. Tickets are on sale right now at kentstage.org. And we welcome to the show the beautiful Reverend Peyton. How you doing, Rev?
I'm doing fantastic. It's great to be talking with you today. It really
Yeah,
is.
you're looking wonderful, man. Have you ever played the Kent Stage before?
We have, yeah, we absolutely have. It's an awesome venue.
Yeah,
It's incredible. There's a whole ton of history that comes with it too.
You know what's really cool about it too, Rev, being a blues fan, is that it holds 662 seats, which is the area code of Clarksdale, Mississippi. So there's got to be there's got to be something in there. But for those of you not familiar with the Rev and his band, just look at their website, which is bigdamnband.com. Tour dates absolutely everywhere through all of 2024. You are a traveling machine, buddy. When you go. And I'm sure COVID had a lot to play when you were locked down, and now you're an escaped animal, right?
Yeah, well, it's been tough. I don't think people realize just how much that devastated the music industry, and things are still not 100% leveled out. This last year was certainly a lot better than the previous. But I mean, even like 2022, when people were supposed to be able to be moving and shaking again, it didn't mean that people were coming out to shows, right? And I don't want to name names, but we did some tours with some pretty big artists, not just ourselves, but everybody's ticket sales were down,
Mm-hmm.
But 2023 was incredible, and we're hoping that 24 is even better. It's just one of those things where when you are a real working musician now, right? You have to do shows. You have to tour. The records don't make us money anymore, right? They're still worth doing because we're artists, right? We want to make records. We want to make music. We want to do that. It's part of the art of it, right? But in the past, your tours almost they were like the advertisement for the record, right? Now the record is the advertisement for the tour. So things are very different than they used to be. But that's just part of it. I always tell people, I'm like, look, I showed up here on day one to play music. That's why I started this. That's why I started playing guitar. That's what it's always been about for me. I love music. If they told me one day, like, look, all the music venues closed down and we're going to start having concerts at Claire's in the mall, then I just show up to Claire's in the mall, and I just moved like the hairbreadths and stuff out of the way, and we'd set up guitars and amps and stuff, and we go at it. That's what we do, because to me, I'll just figure it out, whatever that is. I mean, I think that it's we probably haven't seen the last of how things are going to change, right?
Yeah. Well, what's number one, what's amazing is I think that's the first time in any interview I've ever done, Rev, that Claire's has been brought up. So that's really impressive. Hopefully you'll get an endorsement deal out of Claire's if they're still around. But I love the name. Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band because it's just the opposite. It's three pieces and you guys come at them full steam ahead. Is it true that you have a plastic bucket endorsement deal?
Yes.
That,
It's true.
how cool is that for your drummer to have a plastic bucket endorsement deal?
It is cool.
Yeah, to hell with the names of the drum sets, right? You know, that's really, really neat. Describe, I know you're known as country blues, but I hear so much in your music, and that's what I love about it on my radio show. Describe your music. Where would you be placed inside of, if I walked into the Record Connection, a local vinyl place here, and where should you be?
Well, you're always going to find us in the blues section. But one of the things about who I am and what I do is that I come from Breezy always gets kind of annoyed with me because I always say country blues, because in terms of scholarly study of blues music, what I have always been into is country blues, and what that
Right.
means is rural blues, and that's hill country, that's Delta blues, that's Piedmont blues, that's Appalachian blues, that's all of the rural blues that might encompass. And on the other side of it, then there's sort of more urban blues, and I have always gravitated toward that country blues. So it in at that same the same token, I guess I will mix that up, right? So I'm not just straight Delta blues or straight hill country blues or Piedmont or Appalachia. I mix that all up and kind of do things my own way. And Roger Stoley, who owns Cathead in Clarksdale, Mississippi. We
Sure.
mentioned Clarksdale earlier. He said one time too. He said a lot of times people get confused, Rev. They think that you're like a rock blues band.
Yeah.
He said you're just a blues band that rocks. He said
Yeah.
he said they don't understand because you come from you approach it from such an earlier place, and which is kind of funny because like we'll get lumped in with this band or that band, and I always think to myself like, man, I've always thought of us as being pretty traditional.
Yeah.
Now I push the boundaries every now and then, but a lot of the stuff we do is along the lines of Charlie Patton or maybe Mississippi John Hurt, but they just didn't have a drummer.
Yeah.
So we do that, but with drums, and it kind of kicks it up to another notch. But also over the years, like I look at things like this. There is an awful lot to say about, or like I think there's an awful lot to be said for someone like Sunhouse doing a Sunhouse song, and you listen to that, and he lived that song. So when someone else tries to do a Sunhouse song, it falls flat because they didn't live that song the way Sunhouse did. So what I've always tried to do is write songs that are true to me, songs that I have lived in, and it also like I never wanted to be just some kind of like museum throwback piece, right? I always wanted to take this music and bring it to the future, bring it to the present, bring it to now. I think that you, as a musician, as an artist, you have to study, you have to know all the history. You've got to know and musically, you've got to know the scales and the chords and the theory, and you've got to know all that stuff. And then at some point, you have to know it so well you can forget it, and then you focus on being who you are, right? And that's as an artist where I try to be. People sometimes they'll say, "Man, you know an awful lot about this," and sometimes your shows are like a history lesson, which every now and then is true. I think it's important for people to know where this stuff comes from. But at the same time, you're going to see me pushing the boundary and hopefully taking fingerstyle rural blues guitar to places it's never been before. And that's sort of my goal as an artist and as a musician, and is to do that. And I do it with the guitar. I do it with writing songs. I do it with the show that we do. It so often you go see live music, and I'm not calling out blues because blues is actually better at this than a lot of genres, but the people are just kind of standing there, staring at their feet like they don't want to be there, going through the motions. And that's not going to convince people to quit poking their phone and sitting at home, right? It takes more now to get people out there and get them to pay for the parking and the concert ticket and all that. You know, you've got to be more. And every single day in my life, I try to work on it, brother. Every single day. I'm a better singer, player, writer of songs, performer than I was a year ago, 2 years ago. And I'm monumentally better than I was 10 years ago. And it's because I work on it every single day and I just believe in it. I'm still just as crazy about this stuff as I was when I was 13 years old.
Rev, I could see it in your eyes. I could hear it in your voice, man. You are a passionate dude, man. And God bless. A lot of folks don't realize this. Your dad is ailing right now. You still found the time to come on board and talk with us. I want to remind everybody, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band, March 14th at the Kent Stage. Get tickets right now at kentstage.org. Now, your albums, I don't hear a lot of overdubbing. I hear three folks sitting on the back porch, turning on some recorders and letting it rip. Am I right? Or do you?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. The vast majority of our recordings going back to the beginning, I'm singing and playing at the same time. There's no overdubs. It's one guitar, one drummer, one washboard player. It's there, and there's multiple reasons for that. You know, one, we do so many shows, is that when we show up to the studio, we know what we're doing. We're tight. We're going to be able to do that. Actually, it's actually easier than the alternative. And the other reason is because I just believe in that old school style of recording, right? I mean, our last record, Dance Songs for Hard Times, it was like it was recorded to 8-track tape, not 16. 8.
You went old school, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was singing in a microphone from the 1930s, and it was on 8 tracks of analog tape, and it's like that's something that is important to me. Now, I'm not the kind of person that I'm not going to be like you know, such where I go, oh, if it's not recorded to this, then it sucks. And I don't want anything to do with it. It's not about that. It's about certain things to my ears sound better.
Yeah. Analog
tape sounds better. If you can get it on analog tape, it's better. You know, there's a lot of great records that were never on analog tape anymore. And there's, you know, there's so often it just goes in the computer and it's out. And you can make a great record. But there's something about the magic of analog tape. When it can be used, boom, let's do it. And then there's certain things I won't compromise on. You know, when I'm using an amplifier, it's got to be a tube amplifier. Certain vintage things that I want to have in that chain that I believe in, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if there's some kind of, you know, plug in and Pro Tools or something that's going to push it over the top, that I'm not, you know, going to use that. It's not about that. It's about the older I get, it's more about using my ears and relying on that kind of thing. It's like, if it's awesome, it's awesome, right? If it sounds great, it's great. And you know, to me, some of that is it's old school stuff, and maybe some of it isn't. But I also I'm not going to compromise on the music. So when we show up, if you've heard the record, then you're gonna at least get pretty close to what it's going to sound like, especially our more recent records. You know, I think we've really figured out how to capture us on record. And so, you know, sometimes you go see a band, you go, well, that didn't sound like the record at all.
Well, Rev, also with your name on the band, I can tell that there is not a lot of, what do you guys think? It's you. And
Well,
am I wrong? I mean, it seems like if it's right with your ears, that's the way we're going to do it. And you're
like
the one that's got to answer to it, right?
Well, it's true. I always say it like this. I'm like, you know, I'm not the kind of person that's going to be so obtuse that I'm not going to, you know, hear someone out. You know, someone has an idea. Let's try it. But at the end of the day, I definitely have a vision for this, and I have been working on this band since I was 12 years old. So not just music. Like I had in my like I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this. I didn't want to just be in a band. I didn't want to just play music. It was this. You know, I have had this in mind since I was very young, and so I have a vision for it. And you know, I think that kind of counts for something. You know.
Sure does. Folks, if you tuned into my radio show, Tangled Up in Blues, you've heard Rev's music for a long, long time, and you will continue to hear it there. I love your tribute album to Charlie Patton. Off the hook, dude. Really, really well done. But I just wanted to talk to you real quick about your originals. I said you are a touring machine. You're also a writing machine. The amount of originals that you've put together, I think you have double-digit albums now when it comes to EPs and actual albums. You're probably in the, what, 11, 12? Wait, I should know that as a professional, but you have a lot of releases and a lot of
I should
original
know
songs.
it too, and I'm not sure.
Okay, you see, you make me feel better. But Rev, not only do you write the original songs, and they're very, very, you know, you turn the microscope and you turn the telescope on yourself, which is really impressive. But then you got to come up with the music so it doesn't sound like the last album or the last, you know, great track that you had out. To me, as a writer and as an artist, that would be the hardest part. You lay down the words, but then you got to come up with the riffs and you got to come up with the music. Let me ask you, what happens in your life? Is it the chicken before the egg before the chicken? Do you have the melody already in your head and then you come up with the words? Or how do you, seriously, the amount of music that you write, dude, how do you put that all together?
Well, first, before I answer that, I want to say thank you for asking these kinds of questions. You know how many times I get asked questions have nothing to do with the music? It's like, this is great. Let's talk about the music, man.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
awesome. I love this. So,
Well,
this is great.
thank you,
I'm so
Rev.
glad. I'm so glad to be here talking with you. Like, this is just awesome. But for me, it can be both. Sometimes, and this is when it happens the best, when it's
Yeah.
really magical, is
Yeah.
when the music and the words all come out at once. Boom. And then it just all happens. It's like the melody sings you something, and it comes right to you. But sometimes I have like a melody or a riff or something I might sit on for a long time, and I'm waiting for to be sort of lyrically inspired in that way. And then I also have just books and pages of lyrics that are sitting waiting to find their melody. So it can go either way. It can go either way. It's always magic when it happens at once.
Yeah.
Born Till Payday, We Deserve a Happy Ending. I'm trying to think of ones that just all came out at once, like right then, boom, all at once. Those two songs for sure. I know they happened all at once. Like I just wrote them almost instantly. And then You Can't Steal My Shine. I worked on that for years because I was having trouble figuring out. I had two melodies that worked, and then
I love that song, man. I love that song. So that's one you labored over.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening was I had two melodies, kind of two hooks, two choruses, if you will.
Okay.
With the same lyrics. And then I was like, wait a minute, this isn't two different songs. This is just chorus verse. So I made the one that I kind of thought worked better for the hook, the chorus, and then the other one, which was maybe going to be another song, I made that the verse, and then it worked out really well. And when you hear it, you would never guess that. But part of it was when I had written those, they were in two different keys. So I had it was, I think that I had it's Vestipol open, like open E style tuning was where I had kind of written the chorus originally, and then the second part that became the verse, that was actually originally in open tune Spanish, like open G style. And I ended up making them both be obviously the same tuning so that they would be on the same guitar. And then that's kind of how that came to be. So sometimes the songs get tweaked and worked on for a long time, and then sometimes they just all instantly come out. And I think that the secret to it is just to always kind of always be messing with it, right? Just you got to always kind of be messing with it, and that's the thing actually that I spend the most time on. It I always say this. I'm like, look, it's not that hard in music to become a virtuoso musician, or it's not that hard to learn multiple instruments. It's not that hard to learn all kinds of stuff in music, but to write a good song is actually the hardest thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
There's
And
nothing hard.
there are so many of your tunes that that's what I love about radio, and that's what I love about music. It's theater of the mind, and everybody could close their eyes and listen and paint a picture, and you do such a wonderful job with that, Rev, that it doesn't matter what part of this world you're from, you can relate. And you're in every dude, you're in every guy, and just keep that music churning and continue that passion. I got to leave you with one question that I ask a lot of people, and I got to know this from you. You have traveled the world. I think you've played how many countries?
38.
38 countries.
Mhm.
have felt the Rev come on board. 38 countries. There's seriously, folks, go to bigdamnband.com and check out where they play. I mean, 2024 is just crazy. So many musicians can tell me right away, oh man, we love the show we did at the Garden. We love the show we did at the Beacon Theater. We love the show that we did whatever. And they kind of blend in after a while. The quickest answers I ever get from touring musicians like yourself is, what is the worst show that ever happened? Because it still haunts them to this day, and they can answer it like real quick. Rev, what is the worst show, worst experience that you ever have? I got to know, playing 38 countries, there has to be one in there that just haunts you to this day. You probably wake up in a cold sweat at 4 o'clock in the morning with it.
Man, we've had we've had a lot of the worst ones, especially back in the day. You know what? I won't say the name of the venue.
Oh, no, please. Yeah,
Because
that's fine.
well, because we've since made up with
Okay.
them, right? But after the show, and this has been years and years ago.
Yeah.
After the show, there was the sound guy was so hammered, he wanted to fight, and it was very strange why he was mad. He was mad at the opening act that we had on tour with us.
Okay.
And the opening act we had on tour with us was a friend,
Okay.
a good person. He's quite type A, but a good guy, and definitely a person that means well.
Yes.
And the sound guy was just completely hammered. And one thing you got to know about us, and this is it's kind of one of the weird quirks about me, and it comes back to that passion, is that my guys, no one's allowed to drink till the show's over.
Yeah.
Right. And when the show's over, go buck wild. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
But before the show, people are handling my guitars or my money or my show, and then it's serious business.
Yeah.
Right? So we were all completely sober, hadn't been drinking at all. And the sound guy is just he's hammered and he's mad about something. And I'm not even to this day sure exactly what he was mad about.
Right.
I think he was just mad. Well, we were all pretty well angry ourselves by the way this guy was acting, and I'm not sure what he said to the other people working there, but all of a sudden everyone there is kind of mad at us, and we're just trying to load out and tear down. And the guy who, like, normally you would settle out with the tour manager, you don't settle out with the band, you settle out with someone in the crew, and that settle out means pay essentially.
Yeah.
You don't pay me, you pay the tour manager.
Put the cash in the paw, man.
Yeah. So this guy took money. It was like a lot of money, from the show that we made. It was a sold out show, mind you. It was sold out. He took the money and he threw it at my face. So a pile of money just hit me in the face and went all everywhere. I'm like, what? what the hell is this? You know? So I'm trying real hard to play it cool. I'm like just picking up the money. I'm like, let's just get the hell out of here before things get ugly. But then the sound guy had he said something derogatory about Breezy.
Okay.
So then it was I was no longer civil, and I lost my mind, and it was me versus all of them, and they had to call the cops to save their lives is what they had to do. And it was so bad we didn't play that venue for years, and then it kind of went under different management, and the owner of the place wasn't there, and he contacted me personally to apologize, said, look, I was drinking real bad back then. I was going through a divorce, and I wasn't minding the store, and I've been sober X amount of years now, and you know, you always were one of our favorite bands, and we and you know, a good, solid, real apology always goes a long way with me.
Yeah.
And so even after that, even after how terrible that was, and how ugly that could have went, we actually will be playing there this year.
I love it, man.
I guess, but my first one's that we had a few, but that one was the one that hit me right away. Because
Rev, that is one of the best stories, and also it has a really nice outcome, man. A really nice outcome. You move upwards and onwards. That won't be happening at the Kent stage. I know Tom and his staff. Anyway, it's March 14th, the Kent stage in Kent, Ohio. Get tickets right now at kentstage.org. Folks, I openly admit it. I love this man. I love this band. You got to see them live to fully appreciate it. Get your tickets. Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. I'll see you on March 14th, Rev. And all I can say is the best to you and your dad, man. I hope everything works out.
Hey,
and
thank
be safe
you
on
so
the
much.
road.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's been this was great. Thank you so much for inviting me on here. I anytime.
You will be back. The door is open, brother. Okay.
Thank you so much. We got a record's going to be coming out, and I'd love to talk with you about that record.
When's it going to be released? That's good. When's this happening?
Well, we don't know yet. But
all right.
Hopefully,
I don't mean to put you on
year.
the spot, but I'll be on. I'll be on.
It could be before the fall. So
okay.
That's how. So like we're soon.
All right. Well, you're going to be back on Counterpoint, ladies and gentlemen. The Reverend Peyton has been our guest. Counterpoint, a musician's tale. Everybody out there, be safe. Peace.
Shake it like a